Greetings to you and welcome to Minikun Levity. I hope you are doing well. When I recently reacted to a video of a white lady who actually called on black women to write simply because she doesn't get why in most cosmetology schools, especially in the US, African type of hair or afro hair or better still black hair is not taught, all right?
Black women, listen up. You bitches need to riot, actually. Because I was thinking the other day, and why don't cosmetology schools offer any services or any teaching for your type of hair, for African hair? Like, I genuinely would have to pay extra to go take a course about that.
you know. So she was actually calling on black women to write for this reason. So when I reacted to this particular video, I got a lot of mixed reactions, okay, eh, from black women and black men alike, in a sense that some people were of the opinion that the white lady hasn't got a moral right to speak on behalf of the black community simply because she's not black, all right? Just like Bob Marley says, he who feels it knows it better. Lucky enough that I'm wearing a Bob Marley t-shirt today, glory and honor to the honorable ancestor, right? Bob Marley. All right. So basically, like I said, some people from the black community, women and men alike, were of the opinion that she hasn't got a moral right to speak on our behalf, especially about issues regarding the black community. Since she's white, she's not supposed to, she hasn't got that moral right to do so. All right. And also, considering our historical past, our painful historical past as a people being enslaved and being exploited, and, you know, we still continue to face it even today. Name it police brutality and what have you, right? So I do understand why some people would feel some type of way to see a white lady talking about such issues, all right? Even myself, before I reacted to the video, it's just natural, right? And better still, there were some people that had a diverse opinion. Some people were like, you know what? As a matter of fact, what she's saying is true in a sense that there's actually a lot of segregation and discrimination when it comes to teaching African type of hair in most cosmetology schools, especially in the US. So they were like, we need to give her a listening ear. Again, there were some people that doubted her sincerity, right? Some people were like, this is just the usual rhetoric. She's saying this simply to keep encouraging black women, all right, and black people to keep what? Seeking acceptance, to keep rioting instead of actually being responsible themselves and actually getting up and, for instance, if black hair is not taught in cosmetology schools, do black people really need to sit down and wait for them to teach them how to do their own type of hair? So some people were like, this is just the usual rhetoric, trying to make us feel like we are weak and we constantly need help and we cannot do it on our own and we just have to, so this could be true because there are actually black women who give excuses like, it's hard to do our type of hair. And I ask myself, do you think like white folks or Asians and other people, do you think it's just easy for them to do their type of hair? No, it's just like your room. All right. Before the weekend or every weekend, I have to make sure I clean my room. Do you think I like to clean my room because it's nice to clean my room? No. But if I want to live in a decent place and a clean place, then I have to make sure I clean. How more your own hair? Why would you say like it's hard for me to do my own hair like on a daily? Come on, you know. So I think is some. I do understand that sometimes the rhetoric of calling out black people to keep rioting and to keep seeking acceptance, and that kind of thing is what encourages this kind of irresponsible behavior on our part. Excuse me for my words, but I'm being honest. And it's not all black people that are irresponsible. That's not what I'm saying, right? There are a lot of hardworking ones among us. But, when we keep listening to the narrative of, you know what, we should keep rioting instead of really taking things into our own hands and being responsible, you know, trying to be productive. Because if we are only consumers of fake hair, right, and we don't even think of making our own wigs that resemble our type of hair, like making our own wigs and weaves from our own type of hair, but we keep, consuming, Indian hair products, all kind of synthetic hair and fake hair. Then what happens? We become irresponsible, and the world would never respect us because when we continue this way, we are going to be economically weak because we produce nothing. And that is so some people were like, it's just the usual rhetoric. She's calling on black women to write for, I mean, something that we don't need to write for. We should actually, if as a matter of fact, I even got to understand, from the feedback that I got after my first video that this problem is only predominant in white, states, right? Let's say mostly white states, but in black states, such things don't exist. There are actually black cosmetologists and cosmetology schools that take care of all this, and they actually teach African type of hair. So I think this is the way to go, right? And I do understand why some people doubted her sincerity. And as a matter of fact, in the video, she actually said that, all right, no problem. I'm going to take the time to learn, and then you guys would have to come to me.
Other shit, it doesn't make sense. Oh, and I'm gonna take the time to learn, so you guys can come to me. I'm gonna take the time to learn. I love you, bitches.
So economically, you are going to be a consumer and be giving out money, and you are not going to do anything for yourself. You are not going to produce anything. So this was one of the reasons why some people said they doubted her sincerity. All right. And I do understand that. So why I just understand, all these three reasons that people were giving, all right, regarding, I mean, this particular video that I reacted to, right? I do understand because they always say, if you are to listen thrice. The first time, all right, you listen to what is said. The second time, you listen to why was it said, and lastly, who said it. So these three elements are important when you are listening to somebody. So based on this, some people would say, you know what she's saying is just the usual rhetoric. She's trying to, whatever. Or some people would say she is not qualified enough to speak about this simply because she's not of the black community. You know, why is she saying it? Some people will say it's the usual rhetoric, simply that she wants to encourage black people to keep rioting, keep protesting, and without doing anything for themselves, right? Without believing in themselves and just always feeling weak and just always, be like the begging kid, right? So this is what, and who said it? All right. So I talked about what is said, why is it said, and who said it, implying that she's not of our community and she should not be talking about issues of our community. So based on these three elements, I do understand, the frustration for most black people. But in my personal opinion, I would say, you know, uh, I don't think you must be of a particular community to speak about their issues, right? Moreover, when let's say a lot of discrimination goes on and we don't hear people from the white community talking about it, what do we say? We say, they are complicit, right? So why aren't they talking about it? When they talk about it, then we like, they are not of our community. I do get it all, right? So it's for this reason that I just think we should focus on, you know, uh, what what conclusions can we draw from what she said and help improve our cosmetology sector, in terms of making products that are suitable for our type of skin, suitable for our type of hair, being self reliant and not having to depend on, let's say, white industries that we cannot even trust because if they actually make us bleaching creams, right, to bleach ourselves and destroy our skins, right, meanwhile they sit in the sun to be brown, right? So why would you encourage people who are naturally? That's why you should understand that even racism, as a matter of fact, and any sort of discrimination is actually based on economics and what envy. They envy your type of skin because you don't need, skin screen or whatever screen to, be in the sun. You don't have issues of melanoma and what have you. For economic reasons, when they break your confidence and keep telling you to riot, keep defending yours, keep protesting, and do nothing for yourself, then you simply become a consumer. And a consumer would never and ever weigh, nor would never and ever be considered important and relevant in the economic chain, because you never be self reliant, you are economically weak, and you keep what begging, right? So, um, based on all that I've said, I think it is totally right. You know, all three opinions that I got, from the black community, men and women alike, I think are valid. But I would say, like I was saying, we just should just concentrate on okay, what could we draw out of it? What we could draw out of it is simply that if there's discrimination, if there's whatever that is going on, then we need to take our own responsibility to do things for ourselves, you know. And I was so much impressed with even knowing that in most black states, things like this don't exist. By the way, I don't live in the states, so but I'm representing black people worldwide, just like Marcus Garvey says, Africans for Africans, both home and abroad, right? So that brings us to the real question: why don't, or for what reason won't cosmetology schools actually teach African type of hair? For what reason, right? Genuinely, for what reason? And secondly, why do black women continue to wear fake hair and all of that? Like, why wouldn't they want to, to start loving themselves and start, you know, embracing their authentic selves, right? Why is it that all our celebrities or female celebrities, hardly would you see like an entertainer, a musician in her natural hair? They all wear fake hair. Now imagine a child growing up, learning from or aspiring to become any of these stars from our community. Then you see that there is this systemic programming whereby everybody thinks if Rihanna or Beyonce or whoever, Nicki Minaj, I mean, wears that type of head, and that is the issue. So why should we be surprised that our ladies continue to wear fake hair? So why? Why is it that black people cannot change? Why is it that we continue to hate ourselves? There is so first of all, let's tackle why won't cosmetology schools teach African type of hair? It is simply not in their interest, especially in white dominated areas. Why? Because economically, it is going to serve their interest to not teach our type of hair so that black people can continue to what? To destroy their hair, but economically, black people can continue to be consumers, all right? In a sense that if our type of hair is not taught, then it means that black women will continue to buy fake hair. Black women will continue to what, you know, wear weaves and wigs and whatever, name them all type of fake hair. So economically, it's not in their interest. Moreover, since we are the main consumers, imagine that they just say black people like they start teaching Africans. It's not really. I don't even want. I hate to use the word teaching us how to do our type of hair, but I would rather say encouraging, because when that course is taught in a school, automatically you are encouraging and you are recognizing that there is this type of beauty in the world, which is the African type of hair, and it is you are acknowledging that as a form of what beauty, all right. And when you encourage that, what happens? It means that you are encouraging people, black women, to actually keep their natural hair, just like Asians and Europeans do, right? And what happens? When that happens, it means the hair industry is going to collapse. All the people that are making billions and billions from our women because of their insecurity, because of our historical past, colonialism, slavery, where they actually attacked our identity and confidence, you know, because of this, they keep making money from us. So once they encourage you to stay natural and to love yourself, what happens? The hair industry is going to collapse. There will be no more consumers because we buy most of the wigs. We buy most of the weaves and all of that. So that is a clear reason, right? The last reason is still economics, right? It's still based on economics because once they say, what, if once they encourage black women to love themselves, then what happens? It means that we are going to take over even the hair industry in a sense that now we will start to make Afro wigs and weaves for people that may have medical conditions and would have to put on a wig. Let's say blacks that would have to put on a wig for medical conditions, or maybe if they have lost their hair or something. And it means that we will start to patronize, natural kind of hairstyles, just like our ancestors used to do, you know, before before, let's say, slavery or whatever, right? It means that we start to be authentic and we will start, doing our type of hair and so we just move away from this consumer state to a people that actually, take care of the cosmetology of their own bodies, and that would be the industry will be booming. As a matter of fact, who can do your hair much better than you as a black person? You know yourself, you feel it, it's your body, right? Who can come and do your hair much better than you? It means that our white beauticians, sorry, I mean our black beauticians, would just take over the industry. And at the same time, they can still even do hair for other type of people because they are already doing it because they are used to wearing fake hair and wearing hairs of other people that don't even look like theirs. So now if they start to embrace their own, meanwhile they can actually do hair of those other people, then you can imagine it will be a big win for us. So these are my three reasons why cosmetology schools wouldn't want to teach, firstly. And one last reason is that we all know that most, or let me not say most white people, but a lot of white people are actually intimidated by African type of hair. They are obsessed with it because it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and unique. If you look at the Asians, the Europeans, they all have the same type of hair. But our type of hair is unique in a sense that it is not lying flat, right? So it's straight and it stands, it coils, and is unique because if it's just like a kid in a new school, with a new whatever uh, doll or whatever to play with, he or she is going to catch most of the attention, be it good attention or bad attention. So because of our uniqueness, that is why I'm not saying the others are not beautiful, you know, but we stand out most, right? And that is what attracts. So there are a lot of people that we can call racist, who in reality are actually racist because they are envious. That's why they brainwash you to hate yourself, right? But in reality, they are obsessed with who you are, all right? And out of envy, you don't need skin screen to during summer. You don't have issues of melanoma. You know, you can name it. There are many other benefits of even melanin. So what happens? They'll break your confidence and diss you and sell you products to destroy your skin, sell you products to fake hair and what have you. So the last reason is simply because of racism. All right. Now, why wouldn't our women actually embrace their natural hair? That would be the last thing that we'll talk about. Our women find it so hard to embrace their natural selves because of what has happened historically. We all know who we are as a people, as an enslaved people. It's not just about even pre-slavery. We suffered a lot of attacks, right from ancient Egypt. We're attacked by the Romans, the Persians, the Greeks. The last to get to current modern day Egypt is what? The Arabs. So you can imagine all that we suffered, and then we started moving towards the interior part of Africa. Slavery came over, and then they took our brothers and sisters, send them to the States, send them to the West Indies, and what have you. Do you think it was just all about physical labor only? No, there was all kind of cultural subjugation. Our identity was taken away from us. Our religion and everything has been taken away from us, right? I'm not saying entirely because it is just a matter of, you know, I wouldn't want to, but we still have our culture, all right, but it's broken, you know. We don't have a strong culture today because we are splitted. Some of us are Muslims, some of us are Christians, some of us are Buddhists, some of us we try to identify with any kind of group, because of all these people actually or groups actually what subjugated our culture. So we still have our cultural elements, but our culture is weak, and it would take a strong cultural revolution, and it's simple. Be the revolution, just like Kevin Wesley always say, be the evolution and be the change that you want to see. So it starts with you and I. If you start to love yourself, you start to embrace yourself, then, I mean, it doesn't matter what the world says about you. When you love yourself, you always stand up tall and cheerful and brave and confident, and you always conquer. We'll be a powerful people. We will love ourselves. We will unite. We'll see each other as partners in growth instead of what? Competitors. Simply because we love ourselves and we will identify ourselves as one. A great way to know this will be through learning our history and our culture, because you cannot love yourself when you don't know who you are. You get it? So this is one reason, is we cannot, our women find it hard because of this historical, the trauma is a lot, right? And even today, we have a lot of pressure. So even sometimes, for instance, when we have ladies from our community who have become conscious, and they probably might have learned their history, their culture, and after they start becoming conscious, they start to love themselves more. They want to keep their natural hair. You'll have other indoctrinated ones among us, who would be like, you know what, like, why are you having your hair? It's like, you are you broke? Are you broke? Why don't you like? Why do you are you carry? So today, your natural hair is actually frowned upon. You can imagine your authentic self. You shy away from that today because somebody would tell you, "Are you broke? Like, why can't you do your hair?" And people will be saying things like long hair and short hair, and I'm like, "What? Wait a minute." So this is what is going on. So if I have, instead of having my authentic hair, I'm going to pick a wig and cut off my hair, cover myself with a wig and call it long hair. Simply because I want to look as white as possible. This is what we are suffering from: identity crisis. This is the problem. So when you are awakened and you want to actually do things right, you actually love yourself, you want to be authentic self, you have pressure from those who are still sleeping, calling you broke, calling you an old lady. I mean, would a European lady say she's would somebody call her an old lady because she's having her natural hair? So why do we do this to ourselves? you know so this is the problem. And another thing is that, like I was saying, if you look at, it's just social programming on a TV. If a black woman is to be represented, most of the time, she's not going to be represented in her authentic self. If she's a musician, you are most likely going to see her with what? Fake hair. All right. This is what goes on, you know. I could go on and on and on and on and on. And of course, because of the continual racism, we're talking about cultural subjugation, you know, since slavery and what have you, but it still goes on today. The modern day slavery, you still have like a lot of racist attacks, people saying, you nappy hair, whatever, short hair, whatever, simply because they are intimidated by your beauty. And if you don't know yourself and somebody says you are ugly, meanwhile you are actually a princess, you are actually a queen, you are actually a king. Not just to say king to make yourself big, but you are a king or you are great, you are powerful because you know your worth. You know who really you are. It's not based on, you are not trying to be cocky or something. But if you don't know yourself, then anything at all goes. You become like a white piece of paper that if somebody says you are worthless, then you are going to believe it, you know. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on. And of course, it's not in the interest of the cosmetology industry to see us love ourselves, right? Because they want to keep selling us these creams to destroy ourselves, you know, keep selling us the fake hair and what have you. So I cannot say much. I think I've said it all. It's time for you to also share your opinions with me in the comment section, right? Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and share with friends and family.